Hey guys, how are you guys doing? Happy Friday, right? TGIF. Man, I was up so late last night. Or not really that late, but my eyes were getting tired. I worked on spreadsheets for like 2 hours last night. Not my favorite thing to do. But anyway, let me show you what I got done. See if I can remember to share the screen. We'll see. We'll watch the market open too. It's I have it in the other screen here. It's down almost 2%. All right. Well, no, I'm sorry. ES about 1.5. NASDAQ about almost 2%. Good morning, Mark. Thanks for being here. Okay, well, check this out. So, it's right here. All right, so we now have. I've shown you all the Misty trades. This is actually looking better. I actually figured out how to make this bold. The assets under management are up here. I don't know. This is terrible. But anyway, it is what it is. It works though. The pluses and minuses work. So I can work on the way it looks. So that's each day, and then there's a line that compiles it. Well, that's great. Well, yesterday I did the same thing with Pulte. Because they just paid a dividend, so it's a good time to start with them. And I started on Misty's right after they paid a dividend, right? All right, and also he just paid a dividend at the same time Pulte did. They announced Wednesday or something anyway. So, God, and ULTY is a pain because there's so many trades, but I'm trying to figure out a way to automate this. But anyway, so I have the trades for all three. So in theory, what that would tell us, like on ULTY, yesterday they made $4 million trading profits, and they brought in about 1.8 on option premium. But that's about 138% yield. That's on one day. But after we do this for 5 days and 10 days, we'll be able to track the yield, and we'll know exactly what it is because it's just pluses and minuses. We're just adding up the yield. The short option premium goes into one bucket, but the trading profits matter also. But the thing is about the trading profits is the market makers and other market participants are looking at the same information. And so the NAV of the fund will reflect the trading profits. I'm almost thinking about just covering the short option premium. I don't know, but it's not that much harder to cover everything. But having said that, it took 2 hours, and I know it looks terrible, but anyway, all right. So, but ULTY, $300 million fund, you can see what happened to them yesterday. This CoreWeave position, or as I call CoreWeave, whatever it's called. I'm sorry if I don't know the name. They got it freaking. It's how a covered call works. You're going to have a big loser when you sell a call on a big winner like that. Unless you do it like I do, and they don't do they did it once like I did, and then they abandoned it. So I stole it from them, and now they don't do it that way anymore. But unless you put some extra convexity on the wing like I do, you don't. So you have to cover this. You see that buy to close. That's something they sold short, probably for $5 or $6, and they had to cover it for 15. That's the way it goes, though, because they also had a synthetic that went up that much. And they had where they buy a call and sell a put that's a couple of months out, usually at the money. Well, that trades 1-to-1 with the stock, and that position's been doing awesome lately. But in any event, all right. So let's look on one day. It's hard to tell. On Pulte, I have 2 days, so Pulte has $403 million under management. Now, just yesterday, they brought in, they actually had a loss. They spent a little bit more than they brought in. They were rolling some positions in any event. All right. Well, it's a small loss. It's 23 bips. They lost 23 bips, but it's just one day. The day before they made 140 bips trade because they brought in 6.5 million, but only spent less than $1 million. They made 1.4 bips the previous day. And of course, they're selling premium 148 one day and 198 one day. So, that's a pretty good clip. It's just 2 days, though. It's just 2 days. And Misty, Misty and I tried to have these all consolidated here. And this page is really a disaster. But what this tells you, you can look at Misty and this tells you so far they've made 2.54%. I projected that out, and that only comes to 36%. It's just not. I need to work on that math. These guys, because Platy's already made a 1.5 in 2 days. That projects to 189. So I don't know what's going on over here. Let me work on this. It was late and I was really tired. But by the time I got to ULTY, but once I have the idea is I'm trying to generate something like this. We'll look at the market open here in a second. I'm just killing time until the market opens. Okay, so this is Misty. All right. So green is sold options, green money we make, or that's because we're selling. When you sell an option, you get paid that day, or the money goes in your account. It used to be T+3 now, back in the old days. Now it's the very next day. Or anyway, if it's a margin account, it's essentially it's available instantly, pretty much. Well, this day. And that was the first day we started tracking them right after the last dividend, which was I forget what it was. It was gigantic there, wasn't it? I'm trying to think. Why is this one running so low? I need to work on this. But in any event, all right. So they sold 21.9 in short premium. Option positions that were initiated for a short, which is how they make money in these strategies. But right here, these are bought positions where they had to put something on, or sometimes they had to pay to take something off. The difference is gold. So they made 5.2 that day. They lost a little bit of money this day because you can see they spent a little bit. They spent 12 and brought in 12, but a little bit less. They made $1 million that day, made 13 that day, made 32 that day. So each one of these lines is 10 million. So I need to get better. So that's 32. So they lost money that day. They made about 4 million? No, 2 million that day. This is about 4, right? Yeah, and about 4. You can just tell by eyeballing it. How it's going. And that's kind of what I wanted to do, something like that. But I'm not even really that satisfied with that. Anyway, all right, guys. Well, thanks for checking that out. I need to post those in Discord. If anyone wants to help me on those spreadsheets, feel free to volunteer. I mean, I'll open them up. I'm not trying to hide anything. But if I could make that in some kind of attractive and easy format, I'm going to have ChatGPT figure out how to make a script to download it all automatically, so there won't be any forgetting to do that. But then beyond that, I've just got to make it and that could be really good. And in theory, we could do every one of them. We could just download the Yield Max file, and then we would know what everything paid. So anyway, it's like I say, let's see what's going on with you guys. Just kill time until the market opens. Hey, Dan, thanks for being here. Mark is what's Mark doing today? 100 SPY and 200 BIT. Okay, let's look at the market here. Let me make sure there's nothing. Yeah, I agree. I just skipped to the bottom one, but the market's been so strong lately that just something like this, I bet this is bought right up. I mean, or I bet the lows made sometime this morning and we close higher, but I have no idea. And then I haven't heard what Trump did or said, so I have no idea. And actually, I have heard, or I think I saw something, but yeah, it wasn't good. What did he do? He told Tim Apple that he was going to have to pay a 25% tariff or something. And Tim Apple, I think, and I'm not trying to take sides, but I believe Tim Apple had already paid his tribute and worked out a deal. So anyway, so I'm saying, yeah, the market's not going to like that. But if that's kind of what I took it as. Anyway, what's going on, Red Sox? Yeah, it does. One quick, and yeah, I saw something this morning. Boy, if that's it. But also the other thing is with this current crew, a lot of it's trying to about owning the news cycle and stuff, and trying to and it's just lots of times it's just stuff that doesn't really end up mattering. So hopefully this falls into that category. Anyway, all right. So and you got 200 BITX. I guess I don't know what BITX is. I ought to know though, right? I'm sure it's something Bitcoin related. Let's see if it has liquid options. Oh, 2X. Okay. Volatility shares. I like those guys. I mean, I've reviewed some of their stuff. I think I'm reviewing a Vista shares now, not a volatility shares. Well, anyway, yeah. I mean, what's this? Yeah, 107 IV for an at the money put for next week. You could do a 5-point put spread. That one's not that liquid, but if somebody was a bull, I'm just looking at the math of this. 65% chance of profit. It's 107 IV. Sell it for $320, go 10 points behind and buy one for protection. It cost you 54, unfortunately. Maybe you can get it for 40 something. Anyway, it's whatever. But yeah, it's probably a good time to buy the dip and those kinds of things. You got to add a little leverage by going like that. You're 72% chance of profit. Let's just save that and we'll look at that. I may do this one after I get out of here. If this one loses, I'm never gonna let you guys forget about it. Now, what about one in I was thinking about one in IBIT today. I was thinking about buying the dip in IBIT, especially if the market stabilizes. But let's look at that real quick. Let's. It is 8:30. The market's open. But I wanted to show some other stuff here. I just remembered I put this chart up to show where the 200-day moving average is. Well, anyway, this is the 200-day moving average on IBIT. So you can see it's well above that. Forget about that for let's look at where the 200-day moving average is on the SPY is what I was trying to show. All right, so the SPY, what I was trying to show is the SPY is going to open right about on the 200-day moving average. When I was looking in the pre-market, it was right on the 200-day moving average. Right now, it's right there at 576.13. I know it says delayed on some of these, but the SPY is live and we can look at the SPX. Okay, now there's a good idea. Look at this morning's gap. You couldn't really see it on the SPY yet. Look at the size of this. Look at the size of this. So it'd be a good time to talk about gap rules, but let me just draw it in here really quick. It's a bearish gap, so we don't want this one to stay around long. In fact, if it's taken out in the first day, we could forget we ever saw it, which that's what bulls are hoping for. Just run right through it. But if it's still there at the end of the day, especially, that would not be good, because then it gives an area for sellers to take a stand at. But anyway, that happens sometimes. But the good news is, so what? So if there are a lot of sellers here and there's a lot of sellers here, there's another open gap down here that'd be another place to buy the dip. So we'll just keep an eye on it. Should be interesting here. Tale of two gaps, because we gapped through a gap. This gap the other day was gigantic. We're actually pulling back into that gap, but at the same time, we're leaving a bearish gap. Anyway, All right, let's see. We could see how some other stuff is doing. Misty down 68 cents this morning. Let's see. We can look at this. Okay, so ULTY is down 1.2. GPTY is down 90 bips. LFGY is down 2.7. GDXY is up 1.4. Misty's down 3.1. YQQQ is up 1.2. Fiat's up 1.9. Dips is up 1.2. TLTW is up 0.3%. Feet's down. That's down 1.1%. YSPY is down 7.8%. Probably went X or something, I'm guessing. NVDY is down. AMD's down. Everything's pulling back this morning. So everything's pulling back. Yeah, usually. Whenever in a healthy market, as you guys know, pretty much every dip, I'm not saying we're in a healthy market, but as long as we're above the 200-day and mean reverting, and the futures term structure of VIX is not backwardated and crazy and all that, as long as those obvious things aren't there, the playbook for a day like today is look for a place to buy, or if not, or if not today, in the next day or two. Because in a healthy mean reverting market, which is what we're trying to establish now, of course, one tweet can change everything. But it's kind of standard. Maybe, probably at some point, somebody will come on and walk that tweet back or something. And that's what I'm hoping. Anyway, but the thing we can count on. Let's look at option premium. That's why it doesn't matter. Don't worry about that stuff too much. Try to pick good companies that are trending up, and sell puts or buy the company and sell calls. Do something to generate a little premium, whatever. Take a shot every now and then. Buy a call, buy a put, whatever. Try to use options to our advantage. We could still do that, and the tweets do mess up these strategies of trying to earn an income. It's frustrating for sure. Let's see. I paid for this now, so these are all live too. These trades are, so these are all open, so we can see. We can see date created. Let's just look at. Have I been showing any earnings trades lately? Yeah, I'm trying to think. We looked at Baidu, and I have this one on in real life. Well, no, that's something different. That's an idea I was working on last night that I haven't done yet. That's an idea I have. It's a good time to talk about that. Let's look at my Baidu trade. I was thinking about this last night. I was thinking, what am I going to do if Baidu opens here? And it's down. Am I going to just sit there and watch it? And if the market goes down, sit there and watch a $150 loss turn into a $500 loss. So I thought about it, and I thought I could roll out another week and put a broken wing butterfly right on top of it. And if Baidu will at least stop dropping, will at least stay here or go up, especially if it stays here, I can get myself all the way out of trouble, but I have to roll out another week. So I was looking at the mechanics of that, and I haven't done anything, but then I was calling this a rescue trade. But it's whatever. But yeah, but then this one, if I would have done that, I would have booked the $180 loss. That's going to happen. Then I could put this one on. But then, if the market keeps dropping, that 180 would turn into 388. But still, it wasn't 500. It cut some of it off. And if the market will just stabilize here, it doesn't even have to go up, but if it just stabilizes here, you can, in theory, especially if it stabilizes at 84, I would have got the $180 back. And if it goes past that, I would have got half if for some reason it started rallying. So anyway, I was just thinking, I was up late last night. But the main thing I'm proud about is those spreadsheets. I hope you guys like those. It's not really the spreadsheets, but we'll make a graph and we'll just be able to track exactly how much they make every day, and we'll have a good idea. We should have a good idea on the dividend. We don't know for sure because they pick how much they pay. They don't always pay it all, and But anyway, all right. So let's see if the Snowflake trade's still good or not. Snowflake, there it is. It says up 187. Yeah, it looks like it's still well within the buffer. Tom was asking yesterday if it was in the bonus time or whatever. I need to think of what to call this. So, and it wasn't, but it's not. It's only 5% away. It's closer to the bonus time than it is the other time. The good thing I like, or something that's interesting about this, and this is kind of a weird piece of software. Not the greatest piece of software, but it's good for what it's good for, which is the visual option stuff. You have to hover on this, or you have to click this, and then you can see how the trade did and from when you put it on. But it was on the 22nd it was first thing on the 22nd after earnings. Sometimes you can look at a trade and you can see that like it was up way more than it was now. Like we can look at this core weave. Let's look at the history of this trade. Man, that's a good looking trade. But it's at one point you could have taken that off, and at 8:30 in the morning on the 22nd, same day, that would have been the day to take that one off. In hindsight, Looks like the target trade's working out. I mean, that doesn't look that great there, but it's 97% profit. So Baidu trade, it looks like it's not working out. What's this one? This was this Decker Outdoors or something? What's going on? I thought this one was going to be good, and it looks like it was up for a little bit. Let's see what's going on with this one. Looks like the market just went the wrong way on this one. This one's just a miss. There's nothing you can do about that one. Wow. All right. Well, all right. Well, we don't have much else to look at. There's no earnings trades. Does the market close at 2 today? Or I asked Grok and it said the market's open, but I said, is the NYSE open? Then somebody in Discord, I forget who it was, but somebody who's right, a bunch, said the market closes at 2. Somebody else said that's the bond market. Anyway, I probably need to go work on these trades, because it would be a huge advantage to be able to tell how much all those were paying and how they were doing instantly. The market opened. So, well, let's look at that. I mean, it's bouncing. Let's go back to it. Let's put on the SPX. Yeah, we haven't really looked at many charts here. We'll put on some charts. Okay, so that's a daily look at the SPX. And let's get a little 30-minute action. There's a gigantic gap on the daily. Gosh, excuse me. There's a gigantic gap on the daily chart, a huge one between 57.18 and on the SPX and 57.90. Well, this morning we got about a third of the way into it. Now we can look at SPY, and it looks like we're bouncing, and the bar's green. It looks like we opened on the low tick. That happens a lot in a healthy market, or if not the low, the first tick may not be the low, but the lows in the first 30, 40 minutes. They'll turn around earlier in the day. But we'll see. It could also go back right to the gap fill and stop there, and then the sellers could overwhelm it. I mean, I don't know. I think I'm on the buyers team because it doesn't look like the sellers had much momentum. but I will say this green line is the 200 period moving average, and it's supposed to be on the daily time frame, but it isn't. I don't know. But no matter, even if I'm looking at 30-minute time frame, that moving average is supposed to show us the daily, but it doesn't. So I'm going to have to switch back to the daily. So the daily, not that there's anything magic about it, and not that it's stopped, is at 573. The sellers didn't even have enough power yet to get it there. And not that they can't pick up some power later in the afternoon. I mean, if Apple really does have a 25% tariff and they didn't think they did before, which is kind of the way I read that, that would be bad, obviously. I mean, okay, Apple's gapping down this morning, of course. Now look, I'm sorry. I hope I didn't mess that up. I wanted to show this. Yeah, Apple's right in there. I thought that was the election gap. That's their gap from August. Well, this chart, I mean, doesn't look real bullish, does it? I mean, on the daily time frame, you can see Apple's lost the momentum and then rolled over. This is the 200 period moving average for Apple. They totally lost that. They rallied up to the 50. They couldn't even take the 50 out and down. Of course, that's what happens. I mean, that's, that makes sense because it was the end of the tech bubble ended right at the end of December. That's that's around the time I had AMD and NVDY and stuff. And I was so shocked by March when they had bled off so much of their value. But of course, it's just the same thing that happened here. All right. Well, if there's nothing else you guys want to talk about. Hey, Blackwater, thanks for being here. Okay. Regular market hours today. Some exchanges also open for extended hours. All right. Well, I'm going to go work on spreadsheets, stuff like that. It looks like the market's firm for now. The dip has been bought. It's still going up. I'm looking at it over here. But that's a delayed one. Anyway, it looks like it's good. It looks like it's good. VIX is coming down. Well, actually not. I mean, VIX is up 16%. But on the 30-minute bar, it's a red, it's coming down on the 30-minute time frame, but it's up 16% versus yesterday's close. All right, guys. Well, you guys have a good day. Thanks for being here. I'll talk to you later.